Last time on Deconverted Man.
See, the mitigations of the complications of... Oh, you already know all that. Look, this guy is from the future. He's a time-traveling salesman. You'll find that out later. Oh wait, now you found it out. Pretend like you don't remember that later, okay? Where did it go? Oh man! That was a useless warning! Come on, future me! I gotta remember to be more useful this time. Well, now I don't know who him is, or who the bleep that guy was, or what the bleep to be warned about. If only there was somebody I could talk to about logic. Well, there's a lot of people, but there's only one person I know the phone number of. That's Karen. Give her a call on my lobster phone. Beep, 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 beep.
Hello?
Yeah, hey Karen, Dan. Do you know who him is?
Huh?
I said, do you know who him is?
I have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm working on something. You want help?
Of course, I'm always willing to help you. Anything you need, Karen. What do you got on the plate?
Great. I'm going to be taking a look at the tag argument of Nat Slick.
What? Him? Him? Oh no, not him! No!
Oh my word, I can't believe Pokemon is evil! Who would think that Pokemon is evil? Pokemon is totally not evil! Shred Ninja, I'm sorry, you can't be in this video, ever. I know that this is to do with time travel, so that everything's getting messed up, but nobody, like, okay, one person knows who you are, but I want to be in this video! No, you can't be in this video! Hey, what about me? Can I be in this video? I want to be in this video. I used to be you. Can I be in this video? No! No! None of you can be in this video! Go away!
We're being hailed by the Borg. On screen.
Premises are hard to see, and that is just fine with me. Modus ponens is the plan. Serve you logic, I am the man. It was all good, don't you see? Until the day logic ate me. Fallacies make me weak in the knees. Red herring will make you lose your bearing. That reminds me of this time I went to the store. Ad hominem, your mama.
Fire.
I'm Jesus! I'm hanging up on you now. Wait, no, I'm Jesus, really! Alright, now that all the insanity is out of the way, hopefully we can dive into the insanity. Welcome to Karen S. and I's review / critique / whatever the bleep this is of Matt Slick's tag argument. I'm gonna be reading most, if not all, of everything that Slick has written, at least until I get to the end of the quote, not enough quotes in the universe argument that he presents, and Karen S. will also chime in every now and then to say stuff that I don't want to say. So, here we go. Quote, transcendent argument for God with objections and responses from Matt Slick. This is an attempt to demonstrate the existence of God using the laws of logic, also referred to as the laws of logic. 1. The oversimplified argument, which is expanded in outline form below, goes as follows. The laws of logic exist. The laws of logic are conceptual by nature and are not dependent on space, time, physical properties, or human nature. They are not the product of the physical universe, space, time, matter. Because if the physical universe were to disappear, the laws of logic would still be true. The laws of logic are not the product of human minds because human minds are different, not absolute. But since the laws of logic are always true everywhere and not dependent upon human minds, then it must be an absolute transcendent mind that is authorizing them. This mind is called God. Furthermore, if there are only two options to account for something, i.e. God and no God, 2, 3, and one of them is negated, then by default the other position is validated. Therefore, part of the argument is that the atheist position cannot account for the existence of the laws of logic from its worldview. Karen S., take it away.
Karen S. here. The natural universe does not rely on logic to function. It functions according to a set of natural restrictions which make the entire process self-guiding. That we call them rules or laws does not suggest they had to be authored so much as it suggests we lack the vocabulary to describe nature without applying the artificial construct of our own thoughts in order to make sense of the system. Thus far, though, we have no evidence these natural restrictions of the system are the product of an intelligent mind. Therefore, it is illogical to assume they are the product of one. That is the crux of Matt Slick's transcendental argument for the existence of God. As we go through the 7 points of Matt Slick's argument at CARM.org, we will find cracks in it right from the beginning, which will soon split his argument into 2 parts, for either his God is serving as a facade for reality, or he has been stapled on and is unnecessary. Back to you, Decon.
Thanks, Karen. Not sure when I became a deacon of anything, but whatever. Number 1, laws of logic. Number 1, law of identity. Number 1, something is what it is and isn't what it is not. Something that exists has a specific nature. Number 2, for example, a cloud is a cloud, not a rock. A fish is a fish, not a car. A equals A is the way that this is expressed. However, some logicians and philosophers differ with this idea and are seeking ways to not have the law of identity or not need it within logic. One objection to this law, well, really rule, whatever you want to call it, is that A isn't really A. After the first moment that I write the letter on paper, the ink or the pencil mark will slightly degrade over time. A second goes by and you might not notice it, but in a few years you would. So the mark is no longer the mark I originally put due to time. The counter to this objection is the rule is referring to universals and not particulars. This objection to the objection of the law of identity would say that a cat is a cat only in the sense that it's speaking of the universal, not a particular cat which could age and die and no longer be a cat. So then, I must ask the critical question of what rule of law are we using for identity? Is it referencing universal or particulars? If it is in fact referring to a particular, then the objection can, and I would say should, be raised that the law of identity can be in question if it is referring to a particular rather than to a universal. Number 2, law of non-contradiction. Number 1, something cannot be both true and false at the same time in the same sense. Number 2, for example, to say that the cloud is not a cloud would be a contradiction since it would violate the first law. The cloud cannot be what it is and what it is not at the same time. Seriously, where does Slick get his stuff from? It's so badly written. Anyway, A does not equal not A. So, again, with the universals, a cat is a cat. It's never a dog. A mortal is living or dead. It can't be both or neither. And Slick gets this right, even though his version is horribly, terribly written. Number 3, law of excluded middle, lem. Number 1, a statement is either true or false without a middle ground. Number 2, I am alive is either true or false. You are pregnant is either true or false. Number 1, note 1, this statement is false, is not a valid statement, not logically true, since it is self-refuting and is dealt with by the law of non-contradiction. Therefore, it does not fall under the lem category since it is a self-contradiction. Number 2, note 2. If we're to ignore note 1, then there is a possible paradox here. The sentence, this statement is false, does not fit this law since if it is true, then it is false. Paradox only occur when we have absolutes. Nevertheless, the lem is valid except for the paradoxical statement cited. Number 3, note 3. If we again ignore note 1 and admit a paradox, then we must acknowledge that paradox exists only within the realm of absolutes. Formal logic and the main 3 rules of it, I agree with. In informal logic, we have logical fallacies that cover all of these ideas. Lem would be covered by a false dichotomy, half-truth and fractal error, also known as outright lie to my viewers. Go away, phone! Having said that, lem is not really covered well by Slick, and I'll provide you some links in the description box for you to read a proper lem. This is just poorly written. Moving on. Number 2. The laws of logic are true statements such as, number 1, that which exists has attributes and a nature. Okay, it's time to make fun of the formatting. 1, 1. Really? Wow. How about like 1 ABC, 2 ABC, so we could be like, hey, in 2B he said X. Not like, hey, in 111 of 2, Slick said this. What? Where? It's under 111 of 2? 7 of 9? You mean the first or the second one? Oh. Alright, back to reading this. Number 1. A cloud exists and has the attributes of whiteness, vapor, etc. It has the nature and water of air. Just gonna leave that on the screen for a while. Cloud has the attribute of whiteness. Really? Did I miss a memo? What the bleep is an attribute of white? What the bleep? When did colors become attributes? I mean, is this like a hashtag or something? Was this like breaking news? Like, that I just somehow missed? Like, by the way, everyone, scientists have just discovered white's an attribute now. I guess my good friend Tyler has the attribute of black. Jacqueline Glenn has the attribute of, oh my word, it's so white. Stephen Hawking has the attribute of wheelchair. Why not? I don't know. Anything can be an attribute now. Old Spice has the attribute of being old and spice and red, because those are all attributes. I hate every single thing that you wrote here. I'm not even going to read it. It's just going to be on the screen. Why am I not going to read it? Because I hate it. Every single thing. This is why everything is Matt Slick's fault. You know what? The only way to deal with this is have Karen S. deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Karen S., it's your turn.
This is reification by intention. By equating logical absolutes to true statements, everything that leads to the creation of that statement and the reality to which the statement refers is ignored. Slick is required to do this, however, because as he continues, he's going to claim that the laws of logic are independent of the physical world. Now back to Decon.
Number 4, truth is not self-contradictory. Number 1, it could not be true that you are reading this and not reading this at the same time in the same sense. It's either true or false that you are reading this. Wait, stop. Please stop, Slick. The words, you have failed them all. Look, man, truth, like reality? What do you mean by this? So it is or it's not, so no middleman. You do know that philosophers had debated this sort of thing for ages, right? But screw them. Who cares? Slick has solved all our problems with black-white mentality. It's me or it's not me reading this. Is it one or the other? But it can't be something else, right? Hey, Karen, read this with me. Therefore, the laws of logic are absolutely true.
They are not subjectively true. That is, they are not sometimes true and sometimes false, depending on preference or situation.
Otherwise, they would not be absolute. So, what happened when we both read it? It's not true that either I was reading it or not reading it, because I was joined by Karen also reading it. So I was reading it, but also Karen was reading it. So that, unfortunately, is not included in the example that we're given. So what happens now? I don't know. I think Matt's black and white thinking goes kaput, which is where it should stay. But it won't stay there because we have more to do. Screw it. I'm letting Karen deal with the rest of this.
Ipsy Dixit. One more time. Slick employs the phrase laws of logic when he may have been exclusively using logical absolutes, which is what he uses in conversation, particularly on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show. But here he asserts that the laws of logic are indeed absolute. If you Google logical absolutes, most of the results are from CARM.org or Christian apologetic websites. Only scrolling down, you might see reference to classical logic, the type that Slick is highlighting for his argument. In other words, logical absolutes is a term created by Slick and Christian apologists analogous to moral absolutes. Take it, Decon.
Thanks, Karen. Well, that's it for part 1 of CARM Harm 3. Join us in part 2, number 1 of 7, where we'll talk more about this stuff and other things will possibly happen. Thanks for listening, or watching, or both. Please post your questions, comments, concerns, complaints, and other keywords in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to Karen S. Like all her videos. Subscribe to me if you're not already. Which, if you're not, what the bleep? How did you? Why? What's wrong with you? Like all my stuff, and if you have money and you can spare it, throw it to me via PayPal or on a monthly basis via Patreon. Just $1 is good enough to do something with, so do that, or else.